Okay, I just realized that I forgot to tell you guys what the question was. My intention before I started shuffling the cards was that the cards would answer whatever it was that we needed to know about the process that we're doing today, which is learning how to do this spread. Kind of a pretty generic question. I just figured whatever the energy wanted us to know, it would just come up. So let's go ahead and move into the first card. And as I do, as I read the cards, I always let my energy jump around like a frog, right? Wherever I feel guided, I go to that card next. So even though the cards are supposed to be read like this, if you are feeling your awareness go from here to here, then do that, right? Like allow the energy to guide you, right? Like you're not telling the energy what to do. The energy is telling you a story. So the cards and the archetypes are kind of giving you like this movie, this story, this kind of this line of energy, but we're using cards to read the download of energy, right? Because we've asked a question and we're allowing our higher selves, our angels and guides to go ahead and answer that question so that we can make a choice in our life that will help us move in the direction that we're trying to go. So the first card, which is the past card, is the Ace of Water. Falling in love or the resurgence of a relationship, spiritual growth, or enhanced intuition. A new home. Another reason why this is good if you're just starting out is because it does say on the bottom what it is real quick. So if you haven't memorized, the minor arcana and the major arcana and all of that, it's written on the card. It's kind of hard to get that wrong. But another thing that I do want to tell you is that when you do your reading, be very intuitive, like use your right brain. If what is coming through for you is not what's written in the card, forget what is written in the card, right? Don't allow that to color it, and don't allow your ego to say, well, you must be wrong because what you came up with is not on the card. Tell your ego to go sit in the corner. It is not part of this, right? This is a totally right brain, intuitive, fluid, magical exercise that we're doing here, okay? And magic has to do with reading the energy. So, let's see, Ace of Water, falling in love, resurgence of spiritual growth, new home. What I'm feeling as I move into this card is like wanting something different, wanting something new, wanting something that's like a fresh start. So fresh start is what I'm hearing in my head. So in the past, you have been wanting something new to come about, like everything else washed away, like we're going to start again, especially on an emotional level, right? You just want everything to go away. And that comes to me because this is the water card. Water is all about the emotions. So I will be way more intuitive than I will use the specifically what's written on the card. I'm going to use what comes to me first, okay? So the next one is the Star of Jophiel. Happy times, make positive, optimistic, long-term plans on the right path. It feels to me like, so doing right brain exercises, doing things like crystal healing, making crystal grids, doing card readings, that probably feels like home for you, right? You probably feel very good and centered when you're using your intuitive, magical, feminine abilities. What I'm hearing on my head also is like priestess, right? Those priestess energies. And the Star of Jophiel, I mean, she looks like a priestess to me, and her like get up and everything, and holding the two urns or shells. It's hard for me to see what she's holding, but holding those two urns like that, it makes me think of, blending your energy with the energy of eternalness. So it's moving into, there's kind of like a stream on the ground, and what that makes me think of is blending your energies with the divine, right? So the girl on this card, the priestess on this card, is blending her energies with that of the divine, okay? And so when you do things that blend your energies with the divine, it makes you feel, good and happy and more like yourself, which is what we're doing right now by being all intuitive. And the last card here is the immediate future. Skilled work is rewarded, learning all there is to know about a topic, going back to school. All right, this is exciting. It feels to me like if you continue on the path that you're on and work with the intuitive energies inside you and bring out that feminine energy, that's what I'm feeling. It's such a feminine thing to read cards, and it's such a feminine thing to use your intuition to pick flower essences and to choose herbs that are correct and so forth. And just as a side note, the other day I was like, when I go to the store, I will choose herbs on the shelf the same way that I'll choose cards, right? And just kind of feel my hands pass them and I'll pick one. And so I ended up picking some herbal tinctures that I felt would be beneficial for me. And so I didn't know what they were for. I got home and I read about them, and I was like, it was so cool because it was exactly what I needed. So it feels to me like you can definitely turn this into something that sustains you, not just on an emotional level, but, you know, monetarily in some sort of business, if that's what you're wanting, right? So let's go to the Helper card, which is Two of Fire. You've come into your own. New partnerships or contracts continue to move forward. If there's someone that you can partner with, some sort of mentor, I feel like that would be extremely helpful for you. This could be somebody online, or it could be somebody in your local area. You can always go to meetup.com and look to see if there are any tarot reading groups or anything magical or metaphysical in general. I live in a small city. Nothing came up for me, but I went to the next big city over that's like an hour away, and there's all sorts of stuff to do, except there's mountains in the way, so I won't be doing any of that soon. But anyway, it is there. I know it's there if I want to drive an hour. But anyway, so anyway, I do suggest you guys do that. And if you are looking for a somebody to help mentor you, or just maybe take some sort of class or certification to work with others to get more confidence, go with your gut as to who you should use. And hey, do a card reading on it, right? And yeah, because the universe will bring you the right person for you. So the next one is the Obstacle card. So Four of Water, missing an opportunity, discontent, or boredom. And the next card is, because remember these two cards come out together, objective decision making, clearing away all that no longer serves you, seeing the humor in a situation. So what I like about this card is she's holding a globe. So as you're reading a spread, allow the archetypes to speak to you. So the archetype of this card is, it's like she's holding a crystal ball. There's a lot of fire. What comes into my mind is I'm looking at this card as power, right? So, you know, if I'm reading this for someone, I'm going to ask myself, okay, what does this card make me feel like? What if I energetically move into this card, right? This card is like a 3D landscape, and I've moved myself into it, and I'm seeing the woman, and I'm seeing her hold the globe. What is it that I'm seeing? What comes to my mind is power and creating your reality, right? Like she's using her power to create a reality. So what comes into my awareness. So that's what I would tell the person that was receiving this reading. So not using your power to make decisions results in you missing opportunities. So hemming and hawing, right? It's kind of like, it's causing you to not move forward on your path and to not make the choices that would be best for you. So being more in authority is going to help you. So how I read these cards is I just kind of put the energies together, right? I just allow the energies to move back and forth from each card, and I just feel what it means, right? You're just feeling. That's all you're doing with this, is you're allowing your subconscious mind to bring the archetypes out, and you're allowing yourself to feel what it is, and don't censor yourself, okay? So a fun thing that this can be is to practice with a friend, somebody who's very neutral, and have them ask questions that they're not too terribly worried about. Like, don't have them ask some question about their boyfriend that they're terribly frightful of what the answer could possibly be. Like, don't pick a charged question, right? Like, do this exercise with your friend, but pick a neutral topic that they don't care so much about, so that and the reason why I say that is so that their ego doesn't get too terribly involved while you learn to read the cards, okay? So let's go to the next position here, which is outside influences or other people. So this one is renewal. Review and evaluate. A favorable assessment is the facts. Time to move in a new direction. The first thing that comes into my mind with this card in this position, and again, this is all intuitive, right? Like, this is not written on the card, okay? It's like fear of other people, how other people are going to think about what you're doing, right? You're doing something completely new that may not even be in their reality set, and it's like, you know, the outside influence is like, what are other people going to think of me if I come out and say, you know what, I'm a crystal reader right here with crystals and make crystal grids. Like, how's everybody going to think about that? So that's what I'm feeling like the outside influences are, that it makes you kind of like you reevaluate and like don't move forward because it's that hang up of, oh my goodness, what are all these other people going to think? And then the next card is the action card, and I got the Ace of Fire, an exciting new opportunity, career advancement, change your life now. This card's pretty much saying go for it, right? That thing that you want to do, go for it and do it. A lot of times with the action card, I like to pick another card. I like to have a couple cards for that, but I really feel like the action card, the action that you should take in order to get this favorable outcome was really represented with the Queen of Air with the stop hemming and hawing and make a decision, because making a decision just keeps you in the grief and the boredom, right? You just stay in the same place. And then in the grief and the boredom, then you start thinking about what other people think about what you're going to do, and then that doesn't help at all. Okay, the action is to go for it, you know, find a mentor, find someone who can help you, and then, you know, you'll be able to move over here, which is the outcome card, which is the Sun card. Happy outcome, brilliant new ideas that lead to success, have confidence in yourself. And what I'm feeling is when you step into your confidence, you are going to get all sorts of inspired ideas about what to do, where to do things. Maybe you could start posting on social media, or you could go to a meetup group or start your own meetup group or something to the nature of that. Or maybe you'll get a bunch of ideas for blog posts to do, or that you should be on Instagram or something to the nature of that. But it feels like all these ideas will just flood you like the rays of the sun flood down on a hot summer day, right? That's the image I get. Just all these rays of sun come down, and you'll just be showered and sprinkled in all of these wonderful ideas about how to move forward and what to do next. And it also feels like getting into that happy energy, right? Like getting into that excitement, like when you do it all the time and other people love it, then you start to feel like, this is so exciting, like this is working, I love this, I'm so happy, and then you can go more in that direction. So notice, like as I was reading the energy, how I kind of like moved around and like jumped around. So allow yourself to do that in the reading. However you intuitively feel that you should do something is how you should do it. So another book that I have that I really like is called Tarot Spreads, and this is by Barbara Moore. This is a fairly new book, and she talks about that. Reading things in like a different direction and a different manner, right? Like these three cards can be read past, present, future. You can also read future, helper, action. You know, you can read the energy that way and so forth. And she does go into that in this book, which I like. And I like this book too because she started going all about into making up your own spreads, which I love and I've been doing for a long time. But really just use your intuition as to which as to how the energy moves through the reading and just kind of intertwines itself through it, okay? That's how you give the best reading, when you use your gut and you say what you see and you say what you hear intuitively and what you feel intuitively. That will give the best reading to your client or your friend or whoever it is that you are giving our reading to. So I hope this was very helpful, and we're going to get into some more spreads and making up spreads. Alright, see you in the next video.